What is going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome back again for another video. So with all this news coming up, Arturo's extension, does the Bulls have a plan moving forward? So we'll talk about that right after this. All right, Bulls Nation. So the hard truth about the Bulls is that the future is bleak. The Bulls, right? I mean, it's one thing to say we're one or two pieces away, we're a point guard away. The reality is we're a lot of pieces away. We need a rim protector, we need a point guard, we need shooters. So I think it's safe to say that we are not contending next year, regardless of what happens, unless we get just a difference maker. By that I mean a point guard that can defend and shoot 3-pointers. Maybe we can contend that way. Kind of like when Lonzo was here, right? We don't have, and I said this before, we don't have a generational talent on this team, and typically on the NBA you need that. Although this year with the playoffs, you see somebody like Knicks or Heat who does not have a generational talent going farther than they should, but that is because they have a generational type of coach. We don't have all of those. We don't have a generation. We don't have an excellent coach. We still don't know how far those teams would get. We don't have a generational talent. But what Arturo's plan was, piece together this type of roster, which is they're good. They're all-stars. Piece them together. Maybe that would combat the lack of generational coach or talent on this team. That's a good plan on paper. It just never worked out. Now, this is the third year that we're doing this experiment, and we've seen all these reports where we should re-sign everyone because we don't have the cap space to sign any free agents anyway, and losing Vooch, letting him walk away, would equate to just a mid-level exception, and that is true. If we let Vooch walk, it's not like we're going to get a top free agent because of the cap space he's going to generate, so that is true, that re-signing him would be a better option for now. But what is also being not discussed is that if you re-sign him, then you're stuck with him for the next 2-3 years, whatever the contract is. And that contract needs to be team friendly to be able to move him. Because if you sign him for something like 3 for 25 or 3 for 20, which is $60 million, that is going to be hard to move down the line with an aging center that doesn't have really much of a difference when it comes to defense, although he's not a bad defensive player. But if you look around the league, centers like Jared Allen is making $20 million, Mitchell Robinson is making $15. It'll be hard to move somebody like Vooch, who's in the later side, like in the older side of center. Then you're going to be stuck with him. You don't want to have that because now you are limited to what kind of free agent moves you have to make moving forward. With all that being said, we already know, even when we resign Vooch, Kobe, then we only have a few dollars, like maybe $2 million before we get into the luxury tax. And we know the Bulls front office is not going to go to the luxury tax. And this is keeping in mind that maybe Kobe and Vooch takes whatever, just a discount. I think we only have $3-4 million left before we get to the salary tax. Who are we going to get realistically as shooters? Shake Milton? I don't even know if Watanabe could be acquired for that price, or Seth Curry. I don't know. I'm thinking Seth Curry might want to go to a contender, but can we really improve? And that is losing also our point guard, which is Patrick Beverley. Can we really improve on that notion? My answer is no. Like this team, you can run it back, and maybe our peak, maybe at an absolute peak, like everything happened right, is we're going to be 6th seed. And we're going to be bounced out of first place anyway because we don't have a reliable point guard. Even if, let's say, Kobe White takes a step in and all that stuff. I don't really know if that's all going to happen. Maybe. I hope it does. I'm a Bulls fan. But realistically, the Bulls need to have a plan. And that plan is not to get stuck with long-term contracts. If we are trying to re-sign Kobe and Vooch back, which I don't mind if they do, the price needs to be movable. If it's something that you can't move on a trade deadline, because if in my own estimation, you can, and this is the front office, our owners wants us to be competitive so they can sell tickets. The problem with being /competitive is that you have no direction. None. I wish that the front office or like our Arturos has a plan, and that plan is next year. This year, the pool of free agents is not really that great, but next year you have Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Halliburton, although, and Tyrese Maxey. These guys are point guards slash, I would say, make a difference maker if you pair him up with Zach LaVine. And DeMar is going to expire next year. So the last thing you want is not to have a shot at those. It doesn't mean you're going to get them, because Jaylen Brown could easily re-sign with the Celtics. Same with Tyrese Maxey and Halliburton. But you need to have a shot. And stop spending your money on guys that might not make a difference. For example, this year I see the Bulls spending all their mid-level on Russell Westbrook. And that's a Band-Aid right there. And if he expires, like for three, maybe they'll sign the entire $12 million for 3 years or something like that for Russell Westbrook. Now you add another non-shooter. We already tried that method. It went us as far as 6th seed, and then we missed this missed the playoffs entirely this year. I don't want to go that route. And trust me, I don't mind tanking next year because we have our own pick. So we have all the reason to tank. Although I don't think the Bulls are going to tank. There's going to try to stay competitive, and that's okay with me. But you don't have to strap yourselves. If you want to be competitive, if you don't want to, because tanking means trading LaVine, DeMar. If you don't want to do that, that is fine with me. But don't sign players with a long-term contract that is immovable. Meaning, if you sign Vooch for 3 for 20, I honestly believe that's immovable contract. That's going to be hard to move, especially if you want to sign. If he's asking for maybe 15, 18, which is in line with the Mitchell Robinsons, with the Steven Adams of the world, then fine, because that's where he's at right now. He's now no longer an all-star center. For the past 2 years, he's no longer that kind of player. But let's say 18, which is I think was fair, or 17, ideally 15. If he doesn't take that, don't take a gamble and just sign him and thinking that you can move him later. You might not be able to. Therefore, you're going to be stuck, and now you can't go after this big time free agent. Same with Kobe White. I like Kobe's development, but if he's gonna ask for more than 15, 15 is more like in the range of what's his name, the guy from he's like a microwave type of guy, like Toronto, then it's going to be hard to move him either, So I hope the Bulls have a plan, which that plans include try to be competitive this year, up until the trade deadline. And if that doesn't work out, clear as much dead salary as you could, so you put yourselves in a position where you could sign big-time free agents the following year. And if you can't sign big-time free agents next year, sign 1-year deal so you can try again the following year. Because trust me, tanking, I've seen tanking. It didn't work for us. We all got 7th seed. And for whatever reason, we're bad at, picking on the top of the, of the draft. Jay Williams, Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry. Derrick Rose was just a gift from the basketball gods from us. And all these Patrick Williams, not that he's a bad pick, but he didn't turn out to be the difference maker as we were hoping we would. But I hope we continue, to be patient with him. But we can't sign longer term contracts. We just can't. Thank you for watching Bulls Nations. Hopefully you like this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.